Hey, sweet ladies, and welcome back to the Preacher Girl podcast. My name is Pastor Sharo, and every week we have a fascinating discussion just for women of God, daughters of God, girls of God, those of us who still want to live a Christian life in this crazy, messed up world that we live in. If this is your first time, welcome to the Preacher Girl podcast and video blog. I hope you enjoyed. If you have not subscribed and you love this content, make sure you do by the end of the podcast. So today, I want to ask a question more than give you answers, if that's okay, because there's one thing that I've always wondered or has always been a question for me. I don't know if you've ever had a question. So today I'm not going to make judgment calls, but I'm going to ask you your honest opinion on something. Do you think, as a girl, do you think that falsies, false eyelashes, silicone pads and padding and adding and fake body parts, enhancers or what wigs and all of the things that women we wear. I say we because I've worn false lashes absolutely in my life. Or what about all of the push-ups and squeeze-ins and all of those things. I'm not here to make a judgment call or a value judgment or even a moral judgment on whether those things are right or wrong. I just want to know your opinion. Do you think that those things are attractive? Now, here's the reason why I'm asking this question. This morning, as I was working in the coffee shop, I do the very early morning shift at my church coffee shop. And so this is about 7 o'clock in the morning. And there are two young men that also work in the coffee shop where one's in his early 30s, one is in his mid 20s. And these are my sons, a couple of them, spiritual sons. And I was there with some of the young ladies, and I asked them a question just out of curiosity. I said, do you think that when you see a girl and you know that the hair is not hers or the eyelashes and you know that where the nails we have are add-ons and the outfit that we're wearing, that there's stuff underneath that to make it look like that? Or if you see a girl with her face completely just done up to the max and she is gorgeous and stunning, are you attracted to that? Or do you find somebody who is not wearing any makeup and maybe in natural hair or a ponytail more attractive? Now, both of these young men have young ladies in their lives that, girlfriends and things like that, so they already know who they like. But I really just wanted an honest opinion. Do you think that is attractive? Which kind of girl is a prettier or more attractive young lady to you? And I asked it out of curiosity because I see some of the young ladies, a lot of them, not all, but a lot of them in my church that are very into makeup and keeping up with trends. And you won't find a single girl of a certain age group in my church in a skinny jean this year. Not at all. They will only wear big baggy jeans because that's what's in style. And so they're very in tune with the trends and whatever is happening in fashion, in culture, in makeup, on social media. They buy everything off of TikTok and the big makeup brand stores, right? So I was curious. I said, do you find that attractive? And both of them said, sometimes. And both of them said, one of them said, I think enough makeup, as little as possible for her to feel comfortable and it to not look like makeup is what I like. That's what one of them said. If she needs makeup to feel comfortable, that's fine. But I don't want it to look like makeup. That's what one of them said. The other one said, I prefer no makeup except if it's a special occasion or something like that. And then I said, well, what about hair? And so they had mixed reviews on hair, and both of these young men were of different ethnicities, different cultures. And so it was interesting to hear that both of them preferred a natural looking girl over somebody who's very, very well done up. So then I said, and then we had more young ladies come in the room at that time in the kitchen. There were about maybe 6 or 7 of us, probably more at the time, ranging in ages from 16 all the way to my age, and people in their 40s. And so we started a discussion about makeup, hair, the trends that cause these things to happen, eyebrows, all the things. And I thought, I wonder if the young ladies of today knew that natural look, or there's nothing wrong with your makeup as long as it doesn't look like if you work too hard, or if you take it off you look like somebody completely different or something like that. It seems to me that if people wear makeup in order for somebody to be attracted to them, and it does the opposite, which is cause people to not be attracted to them, then they've wasted their time. And so I thought I would come here today and not really pound in a biblical perspective on makeup or dressing. We already know that the Lord says that He wants a woman to dress modestly, and I believe that without modesty, you're not even really a Christian. And I find that in 2023, especially, the line between Christian modesty and worldly dressing is very thin. You certainly can't usually tell the difference, because now club wear is almost nothing, and everyday wear for even Christian girls are spaghetti straps and short shorts, and so where is the line that is drawn? And while I'm not here to talk about that, I'm here to ask you what you think your opinion is on that sort of thing. Is it attractive or is it unattractive? Now, I find also that the people who hate those things the most are the people who won't look good in those things, or the people who might not have the right body type to be able to wear that, and not really. So it feels like if your religious convictions are tied to your inability to wear something and look good in it. I don't know what your opinions are, but today's discussion really I want to talk about the fake. Because there's this one scripture in the Bible where it says that we're not to create an unnatural appearance, right? And I suppose that means that don't do things to yourself to make yourself not look like who you are, but look like somebody completely different. The power of makeup is ridiculously transformative, at least on a superficial level. Won't you agree? Have you seen those makeovers on YouTube where there is this person that looks like a 150-year-old woman with no teeth, and then she gets transformed into this young, attractive, beautiful woman because of makeup? And sometimes I'm like flabbergasted. I'm like, what? How did that happen? Because it was like a complete makeover. So my question is too much makeup really deception? Is all of the false things, and the lashes and the lips and the nails and the all of the things, are those things a form of deception, or is it something else? What is your opinion on that? I would love to hear in the comments just to see what you have to say, because this is such an interesting topic. Now, one of the things I can't stand, though, is the judgmentalism of people who wear minimal makeup and think that people that wear a lot of makeup are worse or are not as good as they are. Because to me, if you wear some, it's the same as wearing all, right? Because this is what Jesus said, and this was about a sin, and I don't think makeup is a sin, but for instance, because people were quick to judge others, and they knew that, for instance, somebody who was caught in the act of adultery, that they had committed a very grave sin. Jesus said, listen to what I'm saying. He said, if you look at a woman with intention in your heart, you've already committed adultery. If you hate your brother, it is as the sin of murder. So Jesus was taking sin to a whole other level, and he was saying, you're judging the people who actually commit the sin, when Christ himself is saying, I'm judging you by the thought of the sin. And so my question to you is, where is that line supposed to be drawn? Do you think that as a Christian woman that we should look a certain way, or that we should be represented a certain way? And where is that line to be drawn? What about things like surgery? Everybody in Hollywood, everybody almost has had a rhinoplasty, a nose job, something of some kind like that. Do you think that that is a line that a Christian shouldn't cross because God made your body a certain way? What about things like liposuction or gastric bypass surgery? What are your thoughts on those things? You might say, well, is that really important? I think it's important. I think it's important because 12-year-olds are having their noses done. And I'm not just talking about a gender issue where they're castrating young boys who feel like they should be girls. I'm not talking about human body mutilation for gender dysphoria. I'm talking about young people who, because of low self-esteem, or because they don't think they're good enough, or because they want to attain to an unreasonable standard set by Hollywood and social media, they're putting themselves in danger, having surgery, spending lots of money on unnecessary things to change their bodies to be a accepted. Now, a lot of people have this cop out. They say, I don't do it for others, I do it for me. They say, I didn't have the boob job for anyone, I had it for myself. But then they proceed to wear something that exposes the boobs. So obviously, if it was for yourself, you would wear it at home, but it's for other people. And I think if we really get down to the nitty gritty, even though we say it's for us to feel better or for your self esteem, it really is so that other people will notice and compliment you, and then your self-esteem goes up. Because, hear this, if while you were the way you were not able to talk yourself, to speak to yourself and say, self, you are good enough, you're beautiful enough, then what makes you think that after an alteration surgery, you'll be able to talk yourself into feeling good enough? Because those are superficial changes. Some people depend on the accolades, the compliments, the admiration of others in order to feel worth. And if that's why people go under the knife and wear the eyelashes and wear the things, and then really is that valid? Should people do that? And here's another question. How old do you think somebody should be before they should be able to make a decision like having a tummy tuck or liposuction or a nose job? And there was a law passed in New York just a few days ago, a very, very disturbing law for me, where a young person can be as young as 8 years old, can be checked by a doctor for an STD through their school or any other medical procedure without the consent of parents. Isn't that crazy? That an 8-year-old can do that, that they've given, that the government here in New York City has given our education system the right to parent your children, to parent babies, children, without the people who love them the most, their mother and father, without those people having a say or having the knowledge or knowing that this is happening to my child, that they can administer hormone blockers and drugs to your children without your consent. I think that's preposterous. I think that's ridiculous. And even though that is a different conversation to have, I think that as Christian women, if we continue to alter our bodies, and if we continue to do things like change the way we look because it makes us feel better, then how do we tell a young person who feels like somebody of the opposite gender that them mutilating their bodies is the wrong thing? Right? What do you think? Do you think that that's a little line of hypocrisy, or is it not? Now, full disclosure, I have done PRP facials. You guys, I did it online for you guys to see on YouTube, and I have had a lip treatment. I get a facial probably once every 5 or 6 months, and usually it's just an aqua facial. I've never had microdermabrasion or anything like that, but I would like to do that because for hyperpigmentation and stuff like that. And I've always told myself the reason why I would like my face to be flawless is so that I don't have to wear makeup at all to cover anything. And I really have to get honest with myself and realize that even if I had a flawless face, I probably still would. And maybe it's as a result of a lack of enough confidence in the way that I look, or maybe it's because of the way that people treat me when I'm dressed as opposed to when they treat me when I'm barefaced. I don't know. Do you face that, or is it just me? I think about I'm standing in front of a stage of so many people, young women especially, and I know personally I don't dress to attract any man. Only my husband's opinion really is, and my dad is the one that matters to me. But I really appreciate when young ladies especially like the way I look. I like that. Or even ladies of any age, but something about being able to have a say in the lives of younger people that are coming up and let them understand that being a Christian doesn't mean you look like a throwaway, or you look like somebody who's never seen the light of day, or somebody who is stuck in the dark ages. But you can be beautiful, and you can be exciting, and you can be full of life and vitality and still love Jesus with all your heart. So Today was supposed to be very lighthearted and short because I want to hear from you this time. If you would help me chime in, and I want to ask you to keep your comments clean, don't get ugly, don't call names if possible, and this is not about condemning somebody who's maybe had surgery, or somebody who has had some face done, or Botox, or whatever it is that people do. This is not what this is for. I just want to know, do you think, guys, if you're unmarried, do you think that men are more attracted to girls with no makeup or girls with makeup? Apparently, I don't know why, but they seem to like the girls without the makeup. But girls, we don't feel so confident, most of us, without the makeup, right? Or am I missing it here? And maybe if you have a husband, a brother, a friend, a boyfriend, ask them. Say, do you like me better with or without makeup? And let me know what they say. I'm dying to know what they say. Let me tell you, for instance, my hair, usually you see my hair, it's straight. This is my natural hair. It's frizzy and curly. Sometimes I wear it very curly. But most of the times I blow my hair out. My husband prefers my hair natural. He says so all the time. But there are other people, my parents prefer my hair fixed. So it's always a dilemma for me. Now, personally, I like myself better with my hair fixed. Like, nice and wavy and looking cute. Don't we all like to look cute? Don't we all like to look in our own mirror and like what we see? But recently, as I'm getting ready to turn 48, this is what I've noticed about myself. I can't stand the extra thick eyeliner on me anymore. I don't want the big wing that I've worn for 20 years. I don't want the fancy red lip and the technicolors on my eyes. I've worn that for a long time, but now, even though now and then I might have a pop of color somewhere, I don't feel that is a correct representation of where I am in myself. I don't know if that makes sense to you. But girls, I would love to hear your answers. So one, tell me, to you, do you like personally to wear makeup or not wear makeup? Right? And it's no judgment. I'm just asking about you. I will tell you my answer. I like makeup. I do. I like it. Even if it's just a moisturizer, I like it. Two, the significant other in your life, or the guys that your brothers, your sister, your brother, your dad, whoever, do they like you with or without makeup? What's your opinion on colored contact lenses, false eyelashes, hair extensions, and implants? Tell me your opinions on that, because I want to know. So if you felt like you learned nothing today, that's good, because I didn't teach anything today. It was just curiosity from asking those young men this morning and hearing what they had to say, and genuinely being concerned about this. In fact, one of them leads one of the young people's groups in my church, and he said, do you think you could talk about this? Do you think you could let the young ladies know that they don't have to do all the things, that they're beautiful? And then one of the young ladies in the kitchen said this to me. She said, but Pastor, there are certain kinds of guys that are attracted to those kinds of girls. And girls know that. Girls know that if they wear less and have all the assets in the right places, that the guys with the cars are going to like them. And then I wondered to myself, in this culture today, is that the kind of guy that the Lord would have picked for you? Is that the kind of girl that the Lord would have assigned to you? And the answer is probably no, right? So let me know what you think. And maybe next week, depending on your responses, if I have no responses, I'm dropping the topic. But if there are more responses, if you guys chime in and say, look, this is my opinion, this is what I think, then I'll tell you what the Bible says and what the moral ground for these kinds of questions are. I remember I told somebody today that when I was little, for instance, the only person that wore wigs were the people who lost their hair. But now everybody does. Everybody wears extensions, and it's a normal thing, and you can buy hair, and you don't. People of all ethnicities wear additions in their hair. It's the thing. It's cultural now to our nation, at least. I don't know about the planet, but definitely to our nation. What do you think that's okay? And I would love to know your thoughts on that. And then I want to know the last thing. We believe that we're created in the image of God, right? Inside, outside, physically, spiritually, emotionally, all of that. We're reflections of the Most High God. And if the Lord created our bodies a certain way and we're meant to be a certain way, most of us not the way we wish we were, but we would have changed something here and there. If the Lord created you this way, do you think that we have a duty to work with the assets that God has given us? For instance, if you have beautiful eyes, do you think that you should treasure those eyes and make them look even better? Is that what you think? I mean, do you think that instead you should focus on the bad parts of you and make sure that you can fix those? And I think that that's where our young girls today are having the biggest trouble. Because no matter what, they won't match up. Because nobody in Hollywood is real. It's a fake environment. Nobody in media is real, authentic, and certainly nobody in entertainment of any kind is a normal person. Whole generations have modeled themselves after the Kardashians. Have you seen before and after pictures of the Kardashians? Look at this. Look at this. They're not the same people before and after. Our normal girls can't do that. We cannot measure up. These girls will never measure up to who she is, Kim Kardashian is post, because she's had so much work done. No matter what they tell you, that's not how God made them. So let me ask you, do you think that is too far? And if it is, say something. I'd love to hear your voice. I'd love to hear your opinion on the matter. And don't you forget that if God called you, no one can uncall you. I love you guys so much. Subscribe.